Hey, what's up, fight fans? My name is Jason, and you're listening to the Boxing Blaze. I'm a reporter for RealCombatMedia.com, so for all your boxing and combat news, visit RealCombatMedia.com. So, on July 30th, 2016, on Showtime Boxing, Carl Frampton defeated Leo Santa Cruz, making Carl Frampton now the WBA champion at 126 pounds. Now, before I talk about that fight, before that was a card on Showtime Extreme where Paulie Malignaggi boxed. But on that same card where Paulie Malignaggi boxed, two women boxed. And that just amazed me because personally, I think that's the first time I've seen two women fight on a card that big. So that just surprised me. And I don't know why they just don't make a chick famous, like a woman boxer famous. I feel like due to the success that Ronda Rousey had, I feel like it's possible to make a woman boxer famous as well. You know, just put two women to box under a big, like on an undercard from a big fight, and you can get some big exposure onto women's boxing, and women's boxing can become a thing. So, like I said before, Paulie Malignaggi was the headliner for that card, and he fought against a guy named Gabriel Bracero, and he won by unanimous decision. And then about an hour later, he joined the rest of the guys on the main Showtime card to commentate, which is kind of pretty cool. My question is, where's Paulie Malignaggi going? Is he just going to box for a couple more years? Does he want another big fight? Is he just doing this to, like, make money? Like, I want to know what his plan is. Now, on the main Showtime card, the main, match, there was first fought on the undercard Mikey Garcia, who hadn't fought in 2.5 years, and I thought that was really going to affect his performance. He fought against a guy named Elio Rojas. Now, when this fight started, the first 2 rounds were kind of slow. Mikey Garcia was kind of slow for that matter. Elio Rojas was kind of like moving around, and I think Mikey Garcia had lost those first 2 rounds, and I was kind of like, is this... Did Mikey Garcia lose his touch, or is he just waiting it out? And it turns out he was just waiting it out, because in the 3rd round, Mikey Garcia was getting closer. He was closing the distance. He was getting more comfortable in the ring, and he knocked Elio Rojas down twice in the 3rd. And then as soon as Mikey Garcia knocked him down, the guy Elio Rojas started fighting wild. Like, no longer did he think about boxing in any way, shape, or form. He just started throwing crazy. And most of the knockdowns, let me see how many times he knocked him down. He knocked, in the whole fight, Mikey Garcia knocked Elio Rojas down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He knocked him down 5 times, and there was only 5 rounds. And most of those knockdowns, they weren't even like his equilibrium was off or whatever. I feel like the guy just had bad footwork, and then there was one where he dove. Like, the guy's dumb. Elio Rojas is dumb. I feel like he was a drama queen. There was one time that he fell. I think it was the second to last knockdown. Elio Rojas fell, and he started to pout. He put his fist on the ring, and he started hitting the ring and started to pout. Like, the guy's a drama queen. I thought the guy was so dumb, but I thought it was a good tune-up fight for Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, he said he's going to return to the ring. He said he's going to return to the ring, and he's going to make 135 because that's where his body's most comfortable. So I'm curious to see who he wants to face there. One of the people at 135 is, I believe it's Felix Verdejo is at 135, and I think that's a very interesting fight. Also, the IBF title at 135 is also vacant, so I think that'd be a good fight. Get himself another tune-up fight in a way at 135, but somehow get that fight to be for the vacant IBF title at 135 pounds. That way, if Mikey Garcia becomes a champion at 135 pounds, he can reintegrate himself into the division, fight the other champions, and get himself back all the way to the top of their pound-for-pound list. Now, in the main fight, Carl Frampton defeated Leo Santa Cruz. Say what? Now, this honestly was surprising to me. I thought Leo Santa Cruz was going to win the fight because of the height advantage, the reach advantage, and I thought he was the stronger puncher. The first 2 rounds, I had Leo Santa Cruz winning because he was landing the more powerful shots, the more effective shots. These guys had been going toe-to-toe, and they had already looked like it's going to be a good fight. And then in the 3rd round, Frampton started using his distance. He started controlling the distance, controlling the tempo. And this is kind of weird, him being the shorter guy with the shorter reach. You would think that he'd want to be on the inside, but no. Leo Santa Cruz has the style that, he has the Mexican style. He wants to go to war. And that's what kind of was his undoing. Leo Santa Cruz wanted to fight like he usually does, and Carl Frampton started boxing. Now, Carl Frampton wasn't moving all over the ring, but he was boxing. His head movement, his foot movement, he was using it to his advantage, and Leo Santa Cruz was throwing a lot of punches into the air. One of my favorite punches from Carl Frampton was the left hand. He was landing that left hand like crazy. It was on point. Now, since Carl Frampton beat Leo Santa Cruz, what does this mean for Leo Santa Cruz? Now, this is not the type of fight where Leo Santa Cruz lost, and he lost really bad, and he has to rethink his career. Actually, I thought this fight was really close. I had the fight going 6 rounds to 6 or 7 rounds to 5 for Carl Frampton. I don't think he did that bad. It was a close fight, and there was rounds where you could argue that one round it would go to one guy or the other one. I think Leo Santa Cruz could get back to it and fight another champion at that weight, and so or go for the rematch. If I were Leo Santa Cruz, I'd try to go for the rematch right away and beat Carl Frampton, and that'd be the best thing for his career right now. Now, for Carl Frampton, he said he would give Leo Santa Cruz a rematch. I don't know if it's true, but he can do that, or he can go ahead and fight the other champions at that weight, like Lee Selby, and who else was it? There was Lee Selby, Oscar Valdez, and Gary Russell Jr. And I feel like those are all really good fights. If I were Carl Frampton, personally, I would probably go against other Lee Selby or Oscar Valdez, because I feel that'd be the easier fights, versus Gary Russell Jr. I feel like that would be the tougher fight to go for Carl Frampton. So and think about it, if Carl Frampton fights against Lee Selby out in the UK, that'd be big money over there. Now, what he can also do is fight against Guillermo Rigondeaux, have Guillermo Rigondeaux come up and weight to 126. Guillermo Rigondeaux has already come out and said he'd fight him. But who knows? Oh, and there's also Nonito Donaire at 122 pounds, so he could bring him up, have a fight with him. And or he can go up and wait after he fights all the guys at 126 pounds, and there's Francisco Vargas, there's Vasil Lomachenko, there's Salido up there, so there's lots of guys for Carl Frampton to fight. There's no way that he should be fighting a bum, because there's tons of guys weights above his weight and weights below him to fight. So there's no reason for Carl Frampton for his next fight to be fighting a bum, and I don't think he will. But that's all I have to say for today. Please subscribe to the Boxing Blaze. Please like my videos, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. Please go like, comment, subscribe to the Real Combat YouTube page. It's a really good channel. I have my videos on there too. And please visit realcombatmedia.com for all your boxing news. Thanks.